How old do you think that grease is? Hi, I'm Paul Brodie, back in the shop here. Man behind the camera, Mitch, you all know that. Welcome back. Yesterday was our 2-year anniversary of making videos here. 2 years. So in my shop yesterday, I made something. I took a piece of 1/4 inch aluminum. I made a 2. I designed it. I used the compass ruler, and then I cut it out of 1/4 inch plate. I filed it, I sanded it, and then I wanted some kind of an effect. So I went over to my mill. I took a 3/4 inch shaft and I wrapped some Scotch-Brite around it. I ran it at about 800 RPM, and I moved the mill 600 thou each time, and you bring it down for a few seconds. This is going round at 800 RPM, and it makes a nice little effect. So I'm pretty happy with that. 2 years, unbelievable. Haven't run out of ideas yet. I got a package. It's from Craig Easton in California. And look, it's the pinion gear for the Cub. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate that very much. So now I have a good gear. It's used, but it's good. All right, so other news, we're gonna move over here. Mitch's gonna reorganize. I'm gonna show you what happened on the frame. Remember last episode, worked on the frame, cut it up, and it looked like the motor might not fit. Let's go over here. Here's the frame that I worked on last episode, and remember it got welded here, here, and here, and it kind of looked on the bench that maybe the engine was going to fit, but it didn't look like it was maybe lined up. So I sanded down the welds, I took a spray bomb, I spritzed it, I mocked up a motor and put it in there, got some 3/8 bolts, and the bolts just went right in. I did no filing whatsoever, so I think I kind of lucked out there a little bit, but engine went in there. Do you notice there's a push rod tube here? This is one of the 2 push rod tubes that I have, and it seems to be the right length. There's not really room for the O-rings, but it does nestle in there somewhat. This is the oval cylinder and head, and this is the one I'm using. This is the square cylinder and head. You can see this is larger, the fins are larger. So this is the push rod tube that got made. So in between the oval engine and the square engine, this push rod tube needs to be about 3/16 of an inch shorter. So there is a difference. I didn't read that in any of the books. No one told me, so my discovery. So on the points cover, it was a little bit rough, and I spent about an hour and I sanded it and I polished it, and now it's smooth, so everybody's happy. Put this up here. I have a Tiger Cub hub. This one's in nice shape. You can see these pieces here. This is what holds on the sprocket. These are all in fine shape. Do you see this one here, how every one is broken? I think what happened is they were using the bike and the sprocket bolts came loose and they kept on using it. So our mission today is to take out this hub. We have to swap over the axle and the bearings into here. We'll do that on the arbor press. But I wanted to show you a little bit about what's going on here. See how the flange is? This is large, this is small. That could be called a conical hub, even though the brake isn't at an angle, but I think that's what you would call it. I don't know what else. This spoke pattern here, it's a 2-cross. If you look at this spoke here, can you see how it crosses one and the second spoke? This is a 2-cross pattern. On the other side, if I look at this spoke here, 1, 2, 3, this is a 3-cross. So I'm making an assumption here. I'm making an assumption that when they drilled the rim, it wasn't perfect like that. It was more like that, making assumptions. So what I've done is I've marked the rim. Can you see the red felt pen? I put drive. I did it in 4 different spots so it won't rub off. This is the drive side. It goes on the sprocket. And then we also have to know where the rim is situated compared to the hub. It's called the dish. So I'm going to show you what I did there. I'm going to put it up in the stand here. And we'll also spin the wheel. And you can see that the rim isn't perfect, but it's usable. This is a good place to start. So I put a straight edge here, a ruler, and then I measured to the rim like that. So I can replicate that pretty easy. And I checked it in about 8 spots. And it's just over 1 inch, like 1 inch and 10 thou. That's about the average. And if I spin this now, you can see that there's a little bit of a, it's not perfect, but I don't have another rim, so that's what we're going to do. So the first step is to get these spokes out of here. They're chrome and they're rusted, and I'm not going to spend the time to see if I can undo them. We're going to just zip cut them off. These are new spokes. They're from Buchanan's, California. They're stainless steel. Got my new nipples here. So what I'm using to assemble it, I got a 5 mil. That fits quite nicely. And then also on the back, I've had this for quite a while, I modified a screwdriver. Can you see that? Can you see what it looks like? That fits. That holds it in there, because if you just use a regular screwdriver, it wants to slip out, and it always slips out. So this is good, and that's an easy modification. Just need a grinder or a file. Okay, let's go make some sparks outside. I've got a lock ring here that has to come out, so I've got a bicycle tool. I'll show you that. That's tight. Oh, that's tight. And right here, it's pretty loose. There's no pressure at all. So I think something has turned the thread over. I guess what I could do is I could put the ring down and use the grinder on the edge, because this is scrap basically. I guess maybe I got to do that. So there, that's done. What this does is to hold the bearing inside. It's a lock for the bearing. And what I'm using here is a bicycle tool. It's from the Park Tool Company. Used to be for the bottom brackets on bicycles, old style bottom brackets. They don't use bottom brackets like that anymore. If this doesn't work, I'm not sure. Well, we won't say anything right now. No, this is working. So it was, somehow it got knocked over. I don't know how. And the thread was damaged. Because look at that, it's coming right out. Okay, very good. Oh, there we go. That was a good bang, eh? How old do you think that grease is? Success. So we need to go wash parts now. There's the bearing. I got the blue waterproof grease. Got my palette knife. So this goes in here. I think that's it. Okay. I think that works. This took a little longer than I had anticipated. How does that happen? So there we go. That goes over there like that. Drops on. Got lots of grease in there. That's pretty tight. Okay, I think we're ready to start lacing up the hub now, up the rim. I don't know what kind of oil this is, but it comes with the spokes and the nipples. So it must be good stuff, right? Oh, look at that. So every second hole. When you're building a wheel, normally you put all the inside spokes in first. That's what I do. But this one here, you can add them later. So a little different on this cub. Okay, so 10 spokes in. It's a 40 spoke wheel. Usually they're 36 or 40, depending. So we go we skip 3, it's every 4th hole now. I think for a lot of people, how to build a wheel is a bit of a mystery, but it's not black magic or anything. It's just kind of logic. And if you think about it and you have some patience, you can probably do it. Years ago, I used to get other people to build my wheels, and then I just thought, I think I can learn that, so I figured it out. Skip 3, and there's the 4th hole. So now we feed in from the bottom. Okay, so this is where the screwdriver comes in handy, because you can so see how I've got thread showing there? I'm not screwing them all the way up. I'm leaving a bit of thread there, so I have some slack. Okay, this is the last spoke on this side. I call it the drive side, because that's where the sprocket goes. Let's just see what happens here. I'm gonna see if I can figure this out without looking at the photo. Still come up, okay. See, that's way too long there. So it's like this one, like this spoke looks like it wants to go there. Oh, okay. I have learned something here, because let me show you what's happening here. what's happening is this is way too short. And then if I shift over here, can you see how it's way too long? And I was thinking, I was talking to Mitch and I was going, what did I do? Because this side laced up really nicely. Well, what happened is when I put the spokes in here, when I started out, I had a 50-50 chance of getting it right. What has to happen is this spoke has to go to there, that spoke has to go to there, and so on. So this needs to get unlaced, everything shifted, one hole, and then this side will work. So never laced up a Triumph hub before, did not know that. So anyway, got a little bit of unlacing to do. Stay tuned. That's all it is. One spoke. So, look at that. Now that we've shifted everything over one spoke, perfect. Can't believe that was a good learning lesson, because I really scratched my head for what, half an hour, Mitch? Scratching my head for half an hour thinking, what have I done wrong? What's wrong here? And then I finally figured it out. So there we go. We'll see how it spins right off the bat. It spins better than before, so all that work with the solvent tank and the grease. So we have some work to do, but I know how to do that. So you can see there's a gap, so when it goes over like that, I need to pull it that way. And my screwdriver is almost too short, too long for the spoke holes. I'll flip sides. A little bit at a time. You don't usually want to go more than a quarter turn at a time. That's the rule of thumb. So if it's hitting here, I want to tighten these spokes and loosen these spokes just a little. Sometimes on these rims, when they're old, you can only fix them so much. So anyway, we'll tighten up these spokes here. And it is tight pretty well. So I'll loosen this one, make these tighter. You see what we're doing? Just incrementally. It's not bad for a used rim that's could be 60 years old. Not bad. Okay, so I think I'm just going to leave this now. I can spend another hour on this. I don't know if you want to watch that. Probably not. That's basically our episode. We had a few hiccups building this wheel, but you know, we persevered, got it done. Thank you for hanging out in the shop. We appreciate it very much. Mitch and I like coffees. If you buy us coffees, it fuels our channel. If you like this episode, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. See you next time. Take care.